Can you think of a weapon that was used in more than 5 wars throughout history?
I can.
The 1911 was the gun that was used in more than 5 wars. Today we're going to talk about the 1911. I've been into guns my whole life. I've even bought a 1911. I know how to disassemble it and such, field strip, and it's a big part of history. It's proven its worthiness. It's a staple of gun history. Any guy that knows guns usually knows of the 1911. Understanding the 1911, how it works, can help you better understand guns, handguns in general. We'll first talk about the frame, then the slide, the firing mechanism, and then finally the safeties. Let's talk about the frame. The frame is what holds everything together on the gun. That ranges from the trigger mechanism, slide, the firing mechanism, and the magazine. And so it's almost like the foundation on a house. If you don't have a foundation, good foundation, it will not work. And so the 1911 is special because it's mainly made of metal. A lot of the guns today are made of polymer, which makes them a whole lot lighter. The reason you want a heavier gun when you're shooting is because whenever you shoot, it recoils a lot less with a heavier gun. And so that means you can have follow-up shots a lot quicker on target whenever you shoot. With a lighter gun, it springs up a whole lot more, and that causes you to have to refocus your sights a whole lot more. Alright, we just talked about the slide. Let's talk about the firing mechanism now. The firing mechanism is made up of 2 main parts, made up of the hammer and made up of the firing pin. As you can see right here, the hammer is exposed on the handgun, so you can watch it hit the firing pin. Once the firing pin is struck, it gets sent into the primer of the cartridge. The cartridge holds powder, and the ignited powder pushes the bullet down range, which pushes the slide back and recocks the hammer, and then you can cycle it and fire again. Alright, we just talked about the firing mechanism. Now let's talk about the safety. The safety is something that mechanically stops the gun from firing, and the 1911 has 2 safeties. The first one we're going to talk about is the thumb safety. Thumb safety is right here, and it is called that name because you engage and disengage the safety with your thumb. It just basically sends a bar across in front of the hammer so it cannot strike the firing pin. The other safety is your grip safety, which makes the 1911 unique. Most guns don't have them. And so basically, if your hand's not seated firmly onto the grip, the gun will not fire, and that makes the gun very, very safe. Because if you don't have both safeties disengaged, it will not fire, and it's very safe. A lot of police officers use it. Overall, the 1911 is a piece of American history that has proven its worthiness over time. The 1911 is a very complex weapon. However, if you look a little deeper, it's very simple at the same time. The frame holds everything together. The slide moves back and forth with a spring pushing the weapon closed. And the hammer hits the firing pin into the primer, and if all safeties are disengaged, you're ready to have a blast.